Choosing a gutter contractor can feel like a total shot in the dark, right? But getting it wrong can be one of the most expensive mistakes you can make as a homeowner. So today, we're going to break it all down and give you a clear, step-by-step guide to turn this chore into a simple, confident decision to protect your home.
Look, let's be really clear about what's at stake here. This isn't just about keeping a few leaves out of a pipe. We are talking about preventing thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars in water damage. This is all about protecting your single biggest investment, your house. So what exactly happens when your gutters fail? Well, first off, all that water has to go somewhere. It just pools around the base of your home, soaking the soil and putting a ton of pressure on your foundation. And over time, that pressure can literally lead to cracks, compromising the entire structure of your house.
And you know where all that pooled water wants to go, right? It always finds the lowest point, which is usually your basement. A flooded basement is an absolute nightmare. We're talking damaged furniture, mold, crazy expensive cleanup services, and it all could start from one simple overflowing gutter.
Oh, but the damage doesn't stop down below. When gutters get clogged, water backs up onto the roof. It seeps under your shingles, it gets into your walls, and that can cause wood to rot, it can ruin your insulation, and create those awful stains on your ceilings. It is a silent destroyer that works its way in from the outside. So how do we avoid all of this? We follow a plan. This right here is our roadmap. First, we'll dig into why your gutters matter for your specific home. Then we'll cover how to properly vet a contractor, how to pick the right materials, how to make sense of all the paperwork, and we'll wrap it up with a final checklist. By the end, you'll be good to go.
All right, let's dive into part one. It is so important to understand that there is absolutely no one-size-fits-all solution for gutters. Seriously. The system that's perfect for your neighbor might be completely wrong for your house. It really all comes down to your home's unique profile.
And all these factors play off each other. A giant roof obviously needs a much bigger gutter system than a small one. But then, let's say you live somewhere with really intense thunderstorms. Well, that need just got magnified. If you have a complex roof with a lot of pitched valleys, you need special solutions to channel all that water correctly. And of course, the style of your house might demand certain materials just to look right.
Okay, once you've got a handle on what your home needs, the next massive step is finding the right person for the job. And honestly, this is probably the most critical part of the whole process, because a fantastic gutter system that's installed poorly is, well, it's just a failed system. So let's talk about who you can really trust. All right, here are 3 things you can do right away. First, how long have they been in business? Longevity really matters. A company that's been around for years has a local reputation to protect, and even more importantly, they'll actually be there if you have a warranty issue. Second, you want a specialist. Ask them about technical stuff like slope calculations. If they can't explain it clearly, that's a big red flag. And third, ask about certifications. It just shows that a contractor is committed to doing things the right way.
Now, experience and certifications, that's one thing. But it doesn't really tell you the whole story, does it? The real question is, what's it actually like to work with this company? Are they going to show up on time? Are they going to clean up their mess? Are they going to stand by their work?
Here's how you find out. Put on your detective hat. Don't just glance at the 5-star rating. Read the reviews and look for patterns. Are people constantly complaining about the same thing? And here's a key tip. See how they respond to the negative reviews. A professional, calm response is a great sign. And finally, don't be shy. Ask for references and then actually call them. So you've found a few contractors you can trust. Now it's time to talk materials. And this decision is really a balancing act between your budget, how long you want these gutters to last, and of course, the look you want for your home. Here are your main choices. Copper. That's the buy it for life option. It's the most expensive for sure, but it can literally outlast you. And that beautiful green patina it develops looks incredible on historic homes. Then you have UPVC or vinyl. It's a fantastic modern choice, super low maintenance, really durable, and comes in a bunch of colors. And finally, aluminum. That's the popular workhorse. It offers the best all-around balance of performance and cost for most people.
All right, you've chosen your contractor, you've picked out your materials, you are ready to go. But wait. This next part is where a lot of homeowners can get into big trouble. We need to talk about the paperwork, because this is what protects you and your investment if anything goes sideways. No, I'm serious. Pump the brakes. Before you put a pen to any paper, you absolutely need to verify 2 critical pieces of information. Skipping this step is honestly one of the biggest risks you can take. First up is general liability insurance.
Think of it this way. If a ladder slips and shatters that big, expensive window you love, or a truck leaks oil all over your brand new driveway, this is the insurance that pays for it, not you. Without it, you could be on the hook for their mistakes.
And second is workers' compensation. This one is huge. If one of their employees gets hurt while working on your property and the contractor doesn't have this coverage, you could be held liable for their medical bills, their lost wages, everything. Always ask for a current certificate of insurance for both of these, and then call to verify it's active.
Okay, once that insurance is verified, it's time to look at the contract itself. It absolutely must have these 5 things. Pay really close attention to that last one, the procedure for change orders. That's what happens if they find some unexpected rot when they pull the old gutters off. Having that spelled out prevents surprise costs from blowing up your budget. And of course, you need itemized costs, a timeline, cleanup duties, and all the warranty terms in writing.
We are almost there, I promise. To wrap things up, let's just consolidate everything we've talked about into a final checklist of the key questions you should be asking before you sign on that dotted line and hand over a deposit.
So if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed and you only remember 2 things from this entire explainer, what should they be? Let's boil it all down to the absolute must-have essentials.
This is it. This is the answer. Proper licensing and full insurance coverage. Everything else, the materials, the experience, the cost, it's all important, but these 2 things are completely non-negotiable. They are your ultimate shield against financial risk and legal trouble.
This is a question that comes up all the time. You'll hear contractors recommend seamless gutters, which are custom-made right there at your house. But the question is, are they really worth the extra money?
So here's the trade-off. Traditional sectional gutters come in 10-foot pieces, and every single seam where they join is a potential spot for a leak. Seamless gutters, on the other hand, are formed from one long piece of metal. The only seams are at the corners. They just look cleaner, they're far less likely to leak, and that gives them a much longer, more effective lifespan. So yeah, it's a higher cost up front, but you're paying for better long-term performance.
And really, that brings us to our final thought. After everything we've covered today, from foundation cracks all the way to insurance certificates, the question isn't just about choosing a gutter service. It's about being a good steward of your most valuable asset. And now that you have the right tools, you can make sure it's properly protected.